Hey guys, so this little video is not really a yoga class. It's just a kind of session to bring some awareness to the fact that you don't really have to be on a yoga mat to be doing yoga. So I like to sit in things like a hunter squat. I like to sit on the floor a lot. I like to sit in splits a lot. It helps me work my hamstring flexibility and my hip mobility. So I just want to show you and share with you a couple of positions that you can start to think about coming into at home, getting off the couch, getting out of the chair, maybe working on a laptop in a certain way, watching TV in a certain way, that will continue to help you work on the things that will bring you more and more success in your forward folds and in your hip opening classes and things like that. So the first one I'd like to kind of have you come into is the splits. Now it doesn't have to be a big splits, it can be a smaller splits. If you want to take it wide, you can go absolutely wide with it. So you can be here working on a laptop, you can be here watching, chilling, watching some TV, you can work on pointing and flexing the feet. Another thing that I kind of like to do here as well is work on hip mobility or working the rotation in the joint. So as you're kind of here, what you can also start to do is bring the legs forward and back, see how far the toes can go, see if you can get the toes to come down towards the floor. That's the goal. The other thing that's kind of fun to do, fun to kind of work on, is anterior and posterior tilting, right? So as you're here, maybe rocking back and forth, trying to create more and more room in the hips. So obviously you're not working on a computer this way, so maybe watching some TV this way, get off the couch, get on the floor, get moving. It's like you know you're a yogi when you can squeeze sessions like this into your day, right? It doesn't take a 1-hour class, it doesn't take for you to actually have a whole 60 minutes time slot to be able to work on this stuff. And then once you're done with this anterior posterior tilt, come into an anterior tilt and just kind of hang out here for a little bit. Once you're done, maybe 2 minutes in this position or a minute in this position, one hand forward, one hand back, slide yourself slightly forward, come into a little deeper variation. If you want to go deeper still, you can grab blocks and place them underneath the legs. Grab blocks and place them underneath the leg, one leg at a time or both legs together. That works too. So lots of variations there with the splits. Another posture that I like to work with when I'm working on a laptop is Jana Shirshasana. So bringing the sole of your foot against your inner thigh, keeping the knee down, trying to keep both the sit bones grounded, and you're kind of sitting up nice and tall, working here. So you can maybe hold this posture. It's quite a comfortable one to hold and be seated in for about a good maybe couple of minutes. And then once you're ready to switch, go ahead and switch the legs out. So again, the sole of the foot against the inner thigh, roll the shoulders back, flex the toes. If you want to work on activating the leg, you can keep the leg quite active. That's going to give you extra work to do. So just kind of working here, trying to keep the body nice and tall, nice and lifted. I like to come into lotuses as well. This is a great place for me to work my Ardha Padmasana. So if you're cool with Jana Shirshasana, you can stay there. Otherwise, if you want to go a little bit further, bringing the foot on top of the thigh. Try not to jam the knee down as you're doing this. Try to be completely cool and calm. I like to go Ardha. Full lotus is quite intense for me, so I can probably only do that for maybe 30 seconds to a minute at a time. So Ardha Padmasana, more realistic for me to hold for a couple of minutes, and it's quite comfortable in trying to get into the habit of doing it more and more, so it kind of really helps you out in your practice as well. So again, holding here, typing here. When you're ready to switch, lean back, stretch the legs out, give them a little shake, and you can go the opposite direction. So again, being really kind with the hips, making sure that you're getting no feedback from the knee. Try not to jam the knee down. You're going to slide the foot under the knee. You can also, instead of Ardha Padmasana, if you feel like double pigeon is a good place to be, then coming into Agni Stambhasana, ankle over the top of the knee on both sides, stacking the shins. You're leaning slightly forward if you want to go forward, sitting up nice and tall, breathing here. So Ardha Padmasana or Agni Stambhasana, really good choices just to kind of open up those hips as well. All right, and then another one that is quite cool is virasana. So I like to sometimes grab a block and sit in virasana. This kind of helps me just open up the quadriceps a little bit. It kind of works on you know, when I'm working on my back bend practice, I need this area to be nice and open. Maybe even thinking about the practice that you're going to do or the practice that you've already done and the postures that kind of complement that. So this posture particularly, if you can actually sit on the floor this way, I'm not really great at that because I tend to round my back, and this is more comfortable, more sustainable for me for a longer period of time. Maybe extending one leg out. If you want to take it into the half hero, you can work here and then switching it out when you're ready to switch out. Finally, malasana. So malasana may not be a very sustainable option, but what you can do here as well is you can kind of pop yourself into a squat, into a supported squat, so to speak. So you're in your squat position. When you start to feel a little bit tired, what you can start to do is pop a block underneath your hips. That'll give you a few more minutes to hang out here. So a couple of different things for you to think about, a couple of different options for you to work with. I just constantly say this to my students because I see people struggling in classes and they say, well, how do I work on my hamstrings? How do I work on these postures when I'm not in the room? Well, all of us are kind of working yogis, so to speak, modern yogis, and we kind of have to find those pockets of time where we can fit in a posture here, work on a little bit of hip opening there. So even as I'm hanging out talking to you, if I'm hanging out in a forward fold, or if I want to work on my padmasana, I can do that. So, you know, we got to find ways in which to kind of work on things off the mat and then really start to see a difference when we get on our mats. Hope you find this useful. Thank you guys so much and look forward to practicing with you on the mat soon. Namaste.